All right, the Panthers and the Bengals in the game in a tie. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, football fans, a tie. 37 all. Thanks for coming. Thumbs up. Woo! Cold cuts. Great. That's awesome. Game ended a tie. Whatever. Um, let's get to the positives before we get to the negatives for the Carolina Panthers. The positive side is definitely the offense. I mean, they played great. You know, Cam Newton did his thing. I mean, the ankle wasn't bothering him. And he had 17 carries for 107 yards, if I'm correct. Yeah, one touchdown. Longest game was 12 yards. Fonzie Whitaker, 9 carries, 25 yards, one rushing touchdown. And he threw 284 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. He threw the ball 46 times. So he made some really, really great throws. And there have been a couple of few throws that were questionable, head scratcher, etc. And the special teams, they made field goals, so I'm happy with that. Now let's get to the negatives. Now, speaking of special teams, they allowed Adam Patman Jones to go 97 yards off of kickoff. Good news is, what was it, Kobe Jones stopped him from reaching in the end zone. I was happy. You know, waiting for the parole officers to chase after Adam Pac-Man Jones. I'm just saying, don't beat me in the head over it. I'm just saying. The bad news is it shouldn't have happened. I mean, the special teams was bad. Speaking of bad, the defense. My goodness, man. Whew. How do you go from elite to just work in progress? I mean, the red zone defense for Carolina Panthers is the worst in the National Football League, which is I'm still finding shocking. It coughed up 513 total yards today. 13 of 16 on third down conversions. It's just they got work to do. I mean, if you think this was bad, just wait till going to Lambeau Field against the Green Bay Packers next Sunday. Just imagine what Aaron Rodgers is going to do to the Panthers defense, let alone the secondary. I praise the secondary. I feel that they played great. They're opportune. They're not scared. They like I said, they don't play scared. They're opportunists. That's what I was trying to get out of my mouth, which I was stumbling. I apologize for that. But they are getting run over, stepped on, stiffed arm. I mean, it's just, wow. Oh my goodness. I mean, letting Andy Dalton scramble more than once for first down, whatnot. So, Cincinnati played well, but, you know, had more than a couple opportunities to put the game away early. They didn't. They let Carolina hang around. Before I move on to the Panthers-Packers game, I want to get this out of the way. Jericho Cotchery should have caught that pass, that game-winning touchdown pass. Instead, he just blatantly dropped it. Kelvin Benjamin, that offensive pass interference, it was a great call on Carolina. It was a great call for the fact that he did it in front of the referee. You know, pushed off Adam Pac-Man Jones, used his left arm, left hand to do that right in front of the referee. You can't do that, Kelvin Benjamin. You just can't. You're not going to get away from that, period. So I can see if both were grabbing and everything, both penalties offset, replayed it down, whatnot. That's fine, but didn't happen that way. So hopefully Kelvin Benjamin learned his lesson. Now let's get to the game between the Packers and the Panthers, which they would be in Lambeau Field for next Sunday. Last time these two teams met was 3 years ago, September 18th, and that was when Cam Newton was a rookie. Last time that the Panthers won in Lambeau Field was November 30th, 2008. 35-31 was the final score. That's when Jake Delhomme was the quarterback at the time, and they had a winning record. Now, Carolina going to have to try to run the ball a bit more for the fact that Green Bay rush defense isn't very good for what I've heard. They allow 163 rushing yards a game, something like that. They're going to have to find a way to exploit the weaknesses and pass defense for the Green Bay Packers. They're really good. For what I've heard, they were 7th in the league, but things can change. And they can't let Aaron Rodgers go off, especially the Packers offense and Aaron Rodgers. Excuse me. If that happens, it'll turn one-sided game, let alone a blowout. So that's how I see it. Do I think the Panthers can go in and beat the Green Bay Packers? Sure, they can. Will they? That's a tough one. That's a very tough one. Hey, if the Dallas Cowboys can go to Quest Field in Seattle and beat the Seahawks, why not Carolina do that in Lambeau Field? Now, before I get on out of here, my studs, duds, and what the devil. Studs, definitely the Dallas Cowboys doing their thing. Cleveland Browns. Duds, Atlanta Falcons. My goodness, what happened? Minnesota Vikings. Whew, wow. And what the devil. The Cincinnati Carolina game ended a tie. Washington Redskins 1-5. I picked them to win that division. Boy, I look stupid, but I'll do it again because I sure as hell do not trust the Dallas Cowboys. I just don't. That's how I feel. And with that, throwing y'all salute. Check you guys later. What's your thoughts on today's game and next week's game between the Panthers and the Packers? Go Cuts, brothers.